Welcome to Buzz Around the Globe. Twin bomb blasts killed at least 103 people in Iran on Wednesday, ripping through a crowd commemorating Revolutionary Guards General Qasem Soleimani 4 years after his death in a U.S. strike, state media reported. The two explosions, labeled a terrorist attack by state media and regional authorities, came amid high Middle East tensions over the Israel-Hamas war in Gaza and the killing of a Hamas senior leader in Lebanon on Tuesday. The unclaimed attacks, which sparked fears of a widening conflict in the region, rattled global markets where oil prices jumped more than 3%. The blasts, about 15 minutes apart, struck near the Martyrs Cemetery at the Saheb al-Zaman Mosque in Kerman, Soleimani's southern hometown, as supporters gathered to mark his killing in a 2020 U.S. drone strike in Baghdad. Official IRNA news agency said the number of dead rose to 103, while state television reported 211 wounded, some in critical condition. 3 paramedics who rushed to the scene after the first explosion were among those killed, said Iran's Red Crescent. IRNA said the first explosion took place around 700 meters from Soleimani's grave, while the other was around 1 kilometer away. Tasnim news agency, quoting what it called informed sources, said 2 bags carrying bombs went off, and the perpetrators apparently detonated the bombs by remote control. By nightfall, crowds returned back the Martyrs Cemetery in Kerman chanting, "Death to Israel" and "Death to America." Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei blamed evil and criminal enemies of the country for the attack and vowed a harsh response. And President Ebrahim Raisi condemned the heinous crime as the Islamic Republic of Iran declared Thursday a national day of mourning.
"I warn the Zionist regime, do not have doubt, you will pay a price for this crime and the crimes you committed, which will be very regrettable." Quote, "These gatherings that you see held in the country, this flood of people that poured towards the grave of Hajj Qasem Soleimani, Ed, these days, you come to scare the people with your criminal act. You are not strong enough to face the resistance, your power has lost its effectiveness against the forces of resistance, now you are targeting innocent people? Know that you will pay a heavy price for this horrible crime."
The twin blasts were denounced by the United Nations, European Union, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Iraq and Jordan. The United States, meanwhile, rejected any suggestions that it or ally Israel were involved.
We do express our sympathies to the victims and their loved ones who died in this horrific explosion. As I said, it's too early, at least for us, to be able to say what might have caused it. But I do want to address some of the irresponsible claims that I have seen circulate and say that, number one, the United States was not involved in any way, and any suggestion to the contrary is ridiculous. And number two, we have no reason to believe that Israel was involved in this explosion.
The blasts came a day after Hamas number 2, Saleh al-Aruri, an Iran ally, was killed in a strike, which Lebanese officials blamed on Israel, on a southern Beirut suburb that is a stronghold of Iran-backed armed group Hezbollah. Wednesday's bomb blasts were Iran's deadliest since a 1978 arson cinema Rex attack in the southwestern city of Abadan, which killed at least 377 people, according to AFP archives. Iran has long fought a shadow war of killings and sabotage with arch-enemy Israel, and also battled various jihadist and other militant groups. In September, the Fars news agency reported that a key operative affiliated with the Islamic State group, in charge of carrying out terrorist operations in Iran, had been arrested in Kerman. In July, Iran's intelligence ministry said it had disbanded a network linked to Israel's spy organization, which had been plotting terrorist operations across Iran, IRNA reported. The alleged plots included planning an explosion at the grave of Soleimani, it said. Soleimani, whom Khamenei years ago declared a living martyr, was widely regarded as a hero in Iran for his role in defeating IS in both Iraq and Syria. Long seen as a deadly adversary by the United States and its allies, Soleimani was one of the most important power brokers across the region, setting Iran's political and military agenda in Syria, Iraq, and Yemen. In the eyes of many Iranians, his military and strategic prowess were instrumental in warding off the multi-ethnic disintegration of neighboring countries, such as Afghanistan, as well as Syria and Iraq. Long seen as a deadly adversary by the US and its allies, Soleimani was one of the most important power brokers across the region. On days after his death in 2020, and leading up to his funeral in Kerman, millions turned out to mourn in a show of national unity. A survey published in 2018 by IranPol and the University of Maryland found Soleimani had a popularity rating in Iran of 83%, ahead of then-President Hassan Rouhani and then Foreign Minister Mohammad Javad Zarif. Do tell us what you think about this video in comments section.